Hello and welcome back to After Whistle Sports Podcast. I'm again joined by Jonathan, and this is the second of the two episodes we're recording today. If you haven't listened to the first one, you should go check it out. It's of course like on all of our platforms, and that's basically our last week's recap, which you might want to check out before we go over our best bets for this week. We have a we have an electric weekend of football coming up. And we want to make sure that we do our due diligence here, give you our best bets, our best plays for the week. Um, I'm feeling pretty good. Like these are some early lines. So by the time you're listening to this, some of them have changed, but I feel like our analysis is going to be pretty strong, at least for this week. We're starting to get to know a lot of these teams and we're getting to see a lot of them match up, which is going to be a good time. Let's jump right into it. Thursday, we have a pretty solid matchup, actually. And I'm very curious about this line because when I saw this initially, I was like, what is going on? We have Baylor going on the road to West Virginia. The line is currently Baylor minus 3.5. Mind you, I think West Virginia is the worst team in the Big 12, one of the worst Power Five teams in the country. Um, Jonathan, why is this line so low? And is this a play you're willing to make?
I don't know why this line's so low. Not at all. West Virginia is terrible. They're the worst team in the Big 12 by far. And I get that Baylor goes on the road. It's a weekday game, but Baylor's coming off a bye. So it's not like they're playing on a short week.
Yeah.
And West Virginia is playing on a short week. And I know they're at home, but Baylor is way better at pretty much every single position except for maybe quarterback. And they have the better coach. So I really don't understand why this line is at 3.5, but Baylor minus 3.5, I think, is definitely the play here.
Yeah, and this might be a case where this is early in the week and we might be missing something, an injury that we don't know, but like I don't think that's the case. I, to me, this is baffling. Um, I'm taking Baylor minus 3.5. I'm taking out the book right now. Um, I feel very confident on that. So, and also I'm gonna go through some of these games kind of in order when they're played. And if you want to highlight something, Jonathan, like make sure to get that done. But
For sure.
we have, let's see, Friday games. I don't think there's any plays I like here. Um,
No, kind of a weak Friday slate.
yeah, I don't know. Also, I don't want to watch any of those games, so I'll avoid that. Let's get into Saturday. This is where the bulk of our plays are going to come. Starting off with the noon window, we've got Penn State going to Michigan. It's going to be a maze out. It's going to be crazy. I'll be there. Um, this one should be fun. This one should be fun. Currently, the line is Michigan minus 6.5. I think that's probably correct. Like if we were to look at what happens when these two teams meet and like what usually is the case is it's usually that the home team dominates like the team that's traveling on the road.
Yeah, I want to say 3-3 since Harbaugh and Franklin have started coaching these teams in
Yeah.
the series. Like Michigan won in 16, Penn
Yeah.
State won in 17, Michigan in 18, Penn State back to back in 19 and 20, and Michigan in 21.
Yeah. And that 2020 year. Well, yeah.
Both teams were bad.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like I think 6.5 is a fair line. Like I wouldn't personally bet on this game. If you were to make a play, it would probably be, I think, Michigan to cover just because they usually show up in these home games.
I think the opposite. Like
Oh.
once this line gets to 7, I think I'm gonna take Penn State. I
Hmm.
just think like Penn State has the athletes and the speed on defense that like JJ is going to have to like make plays, and like he very well could. Obviously, he's fantastic, but like if JJ plays like kind of below average again, like Penn State very well could win this game. Like I think that Penn State has way more flaws than Michigan does at the moment, specifically on the offensive side. But like I think Penn State's defense definitely will do enough.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the stance of like bar Ohio State, Michigan at home in these big matchups. Like they've beaten these other Big Ten opponents like pretty
Right.
like
Like when
they
Wisconsin,
haven't had many close games at home in
like when
general.
Wisconsin comes to Ann Arbor, Michigan usually beats them pretty well.
Penn
Same thing.
State,
Same thing goes with Penn State. Michigan State's kind of been the outlier. That's
yeah,
really
but like they're like voodoo. They've done weird stuff in the past.
yeah.
But
Yeah, that program's
I don't
weird.
know. I'm super excited for this matchup, anyways. I really think that Michigan's defense is going to be tough for Penn State, to say the least. And like this is a game where I think the turnover battle can determine who wins. And like JJ's done a pretty solid job up until this point of keeping control of the ball.
Yeah.
Let's move on to go to SEC country. This is a play I was very interested in too. Auburn, with all their flaws and all their problems, going on the road to Ole Miss. Ole Miss favored by 15 points. Somehow I think that is too many points.
I agree with you.
I would be fine if that line went down to like maybe 12, 11, 10.
Below 2 touchdowns for sure.
Yeah, I just think it's a big line. And like we know Auburn, but like they played LSU close. Um,
And Ole Miss has to go on the road in back-to-back weeks after this, so kind of
yeah,
maybe looking ahead a
looking
little bit.
ahead, I don't know. Again, like personally, I think I'd make the play right now of Auburn plus 15. But
Yeah,
definitely, I would
I
like to
think I
see the
agree.
over. I'd like to see the over under on that game too. Like that would be something I'd look at. Uh,
Definitely.
yeah, but let's keep moving along, chugging along here. We got Kansas at Oklahoma. Oklahoma was brutal last week, favored by 7.5. Uh, I don't know if I
Jalen
would play
Daniels
this.
isn't going to play, right?
I don't think so. We have to check on that though.
Injured player theory, Kansas plus 7.5. Are you familiar with the injured player theory?
I think I do, but explain it for the audience.
So basically, like what happens is when a player is out, and it's a key player that people know very well, usually like on offense in football, often the quarterback. Vegas will like kind of overvalue a line to like because the public will generally think like, oh, like starting quarterbacks out, like no way, like this team's like covering like 7.5 or whatever it is. Yeah, 7.5 for Kansas. But like, this was like the case in like the Patriots game over the weekend. Like, why? Like, why in the world were the Patriots -3 against the Lions with Bailey Zappi in there? Like, and then they won the game 29-0. So like, I think this is kind of a similar thing. Plus, like, being the backup for Kansas played very well last week. So
Yeah.
I like Kansas here,
Like
7.5.
Kansas, 7.5. I don't know. Um, I think Brent Venables might like sacrifice a walk on if they don't cover the 7.5 here against Kansas. It's at that point of the season. Not good looks there. But I'm personally staying away. I mean, I'm fine with your play though. Iowa State at Texas. Texas is back, folks,
They are.
officially. They are favored by 16.5, and you know what? They are going to cover. I'm fine with it.
I would lean that way, but this is personally a stay away from me. Week before Oklahoma State, I think this could be a look ahead.
Yeah, I just think Quinn Ewers is going to be good.
Might be
And
the best quarterback in the sport right
like
now.
Iowa State will not put up points. So it's really how much is Sark going to want to win.
Yeah, and like they won by a lot at West Virginia a couple weeks ago, so like this could be like a case where like Iowa State is not that much better than West Virginia.
Yeah.
Like like West Virginia, I should rephrase. West Virginia is pretty easily the worst team in this conference, but like I don't think Iowa State is that good either.
Yeah. No, I agree. Minnesota at Illinois. This is probably the game to determine who is in the driver's seat for the Big Ten West. Minnesota 6.5 road favorites here. Again, DeVito probably not going to play, which definitely factors in the line.
Yeah, he has a high ankle sprain, so
Yeah, but
almost
like,
certainly.
I think Illinois' defense can make it really tough for Minnesota. especially knowing the fact that Minnesota does struggle with some turnovers sometimes. 6.5 on the road, even without DeVito. I think I'm taking Illinois to cover here.
I like Minnesota
Huh.
actually. Minnesota off a bye, and I know I just talked about the injured player theory, but Arthur Sikowski is just so freaking bad.
No, but
And
he's terrible. Listen, he's terrible. But I'm basing this off of the fact that Illinois at home. I think they're really well coached and they got really good line play.
what he says is true, but I think this will be Chase Brown's probably worst game of the year, and it's Minnesota's run defense.
Oh, man,
And
6.5 dogs. Like 6.5 favorites. See, it
I
seems
still
like a
believe in
lot.
Minnesota. I still believe in Minnesota.
But like, when do you see teams like go on the road in the Big Ten and be favored by 6.5 on the road? And they're not like Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State.
In the West, unless it's like Wisconsin the last like couple years, never.
So like, to me, it just stands out. Like when you look at these, you like look at what like the teams have been doing recently, but also like these historical trends usually show up in these games, especially in the Big Ten West, where teams like
Historical
home teams just
everything.
yeah, but like home teams win so many of those Big Ten West games. Like I don't know, like Minnesota, I think would have to play really, really well in order to cover 6.5.
All
So
right, that's fair.
we'll agree to disagree there. Um, oh, this is a fun one because we haven't talked about Miami in a little bit, and they're one of my favorite new teams to rag on. Miami
No
going
need to talk about them.
on. Yeah, but I think this line's interesting. On the road against Virginia Tech, they're favored by 7.5. Another road favorite by a lot. Like
Stay away.
Virginia Tech is tough. I would personally stay away from this game, but 7.5, dude.
Yeah, stay away, dude. I cannot tell you what Miami's going to do on a week-to-week basis at this point.
Well, they're gonna be bad. They're gonna be poor.
But so is Virginia Tech.
Yeah, but like not saying like, oh, we know what Miami's offense is gonna do. Like, no, we know they're gonna be terrible. Like they have been.
I agree.
All right, let's go to, and I'm literally scrolling through games. So, if you got one you want to highlight, let me know. But, oh, this one's interesting to say the least. Georgia favored by 38 against Vanderbilt. It's a crazy highlight. Like that's a lot of points. I'm staying away. Like personally, I'm staying away. I literally just say this to know if you have any, like if you think Vanderbilt's gonna like cover 38.
I won't have a point on that one, but I'd leave Vandy plus 38. I don't
Same.
think
That's
I don't think Vandy's that bad.
they're getting better to say the
Like
least.
they're still the worst team in the conference. Like yes, they're worse than Auburn, but like at the same time, like Auburn like lost by 32 to Georgia. Like Georgia would have to beat Vandy by a full another touchdown, and like that would have to be scored pretty early because like Georgia won't try very much late in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's to me, I think that's a lot of points.
Well, it's like Vandy just scored 28 on Ole Miss, so
Yeah.
like they're not that bad offensively.
No, they're really not. Yeah, that could be an interesting play. Um, let's get to a big boy matchup here. Alabama at Tennessee. Bama minus 7.5. Take it to the bank. Take it to the
Play of the
bank.
week. Play of the week.
When are you ever going to get Bama 7.5? Come on.
Play of the week. Get it before Bryce is for sure playing.
Lock. I'm gonna say this is the lock of the week. I'm gonna say it's the best value of the entire season, maybe. Like
I agree with you.
you get this. Like this is it's a call for anyone who wants to make a play on this game.
And like, there's no way that Bryce isn't gonna play, right?
No, you could lock down 7.5 right now.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
immediately.
actually betting it like as we speak.
Yeah, no, this is the play of the this is I almost said the play of the year. this is the play of the week for sure. This is the lock.
It might be the play of the year.
This is a lock. Listen, we could look like idiots if Tennessee wins this game, but like this is a lock.
I'm willing to risk that.
This is a lock, a lock. Please take this. Like I can't say it enough. Is this the mortgage play, Jonathan?
This might be the mortgage play.
Oh my god. Yeah, not much we have to go into. Tennessee's gonna be good, but like Bama coming off of a game where they were questioned publicly by the media. No, no. Stop it. Stop it. You do not want to run to Bama this week.
People are doubting them, especially against a good Tennessee team.
Bama's going to show up and they are going to,
Gonna see some of those explosive plays we've been waiting to see.
oh my God. I can't wait for this game because this is like, you're going to see Bama here. And it's always fun watching Bama because they operate at that, like the highest level. And unfortunately for Tennessee, like they're really good, but they don't operate at that level. I saw something recently. I think it was what's his name, the new On3 guy. Did you know like the On3 guy? He's got like blonde hair.
I don't know the football guy.
He's the
I know
football guy, but he
I
was saying like
I know the basketball guys.
this dude compared on Twitter. He's comparing Tennessee to Alabama and Georgia, and I was just like, sir, let's wait for this week. Let's see what happens.
Tennessee is really good. But like, yeah, we've said all year gap between 3 and 4.
Yep, yep. Gap between 4, 5, and 6, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee's good, but like they are not Alabama. They're not Georgia. They are a fun offense with like really good players that are unfortunately going to run into a better team this week.
I think that's fair.
Let's move on. Another undefeated matchup. Oklahoma State going at TCU. TCU minus 3.5. Personally, I think this line is like where it needs to be. I would maybe take TCU if that line starts creeping down, but I don't think it will. So I'm personally staying away.
TCU was kind of in for a little bit of a dud performance after the Oklahoma game. They just like kind of played too well, and we're gonna come back down to earth. They did. They beat Kansas anyway. Oklahoma State has been outplayed in their last 2 games. I'm on TCU minus 3.5.
So you like that play? To me, I'm a little bit scared off for that line, just because of I don't know. I think that line is going to continue to go up too. I think we're going to see by the end of the week TCU minus 5.5 even. I think that's where the money's going to go. But
Yeah,
if you want to lock that in and you believe in TCU, you lock that in at 3.5 now.
yeah, I think that's definitely fair to say. I think like Oklahoma State's about to enter their like gauntlet part of the schedule, and I just think like they've kind of been a little lucky the last couple weeks.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking of the matchup though. Like, I think Oklahoma State, like, I think they could limit TCU's passing attack more than some of the other teams that TCU has played recently. And, like, that's kind of where I'm caught up. Like, that's why I'm not jumping over TCU and the points. It's because I do think Oklahoma State can play well on the back end and limit those like also like the TCU game, like even against Kansas, and it was the same thing with Oklahoma, but they had so many like wide open people, like receivers downfield for huge touchdowns. Like I don't see that happening from Oklahoma State. And so like I worry you get in a game where TCU is maybe down like 17-10 in the second half and they just like begin to press. And I think Oklahoma State's like coached well enough to where they can win that game. So I'm staying away. If that line gets too big, I would even lean Oklahoma State plus, like and the points. Like maybe like if it gets to, like Oklahoma State, I don't think it'll ever get to 6.5, but if it gets like 5.5, maybe I'll think about it. But yeah, I'm kind of keeping an eye on that one. NC State going at Syracuse, undefeated Syracuse, Syracuse minus 3.5. I'm fine with Syracuse minus 3.5. I would probably bet that. I feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, I like it too. NC State had, I want to say, like the lowest win expectancy of a team that won this week. Like I think I want to say it was like 15% of the time they win that game against Florida State, and they didn't look They didn't look good against Clemson either. In fact, they looked very bad. And Devin Leary's hurt. So
Yeah. I would take that one.
he's probably going to play, would be my guess, but he is not healthy.
Do you think this line moves more in favor of Syracuse as the week goes on?
Yeah, because I think NC State's probably going to be. I think the Sharps are going to be on Syracuse. NC State, I feel like it's definitely the public play here.
Yeah. So like by the time these guys see this pod on like Thursday or so, like this line will probably be 4.5, maybe 5.5 Syracuse.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to grow a ton, but I bet most of the money's on Syracuse.
Yeah. Let's go on to another one. Arkansas at BYU. This one I really like. Arkansas -1.5. I love Arkansas to cover or 1.5.
Is that more of anti BYU stuff or what?
I think Vegas is underrating Arkansas a little bit too much. Like they're 3-3 at this point, which is like I think why this line is so low. But like they're capable of beating really good teams, and I don't think BYU is going to be able to push them around on the line. And like I honestly think Arkansas runs away with this game on the road.
Yeah, KJ didn't play last week. He's back. I think he's back in there this week. He was taking snaps today in practice. BYU just, I don't have a play on this one, but BYU is just not that good.
I have a play. I like Arkansas 1.5. I would jump on that. And if this line ever gets to the point where BYU's favorite, I'd be fine with Arkansas money line.
Interesting.
So like I think that's a really solid play. That was almost going to be my lock of the week.
I was really high on Arkansas at the start of the year. Kind of cooled down because like they had some key injuries and they're not the team I thought they were going to be. Like Jalen Catalon's out for the year,
yeah. But I still think they're good, and I still think they're good enough to beat Arkansas.
We still have dudes,
or to beat BYU. I mean,
yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Some other games. I'm gonna skip this Maryland Indiana game because I really am not sure what to think of that. James Madison, Georgia Southern. Do we know enough about James Madison to play this game? Because James Madison's favored by 11, and just my initial gut reaction is that that's too many points.
Their quarterback's good, Centeo, but Georgia Southern's
they're not bad. Southern
weird.
They played Coastal pretty close. Yeah.
And then they beat Nebraska, obviously.
And Southern at home going up against a top 25 opponent.
Georgia Southern this year only played 2 home games. And they've been against Morgan State, Ball State. They won both.
I'm leaning towards Southern plus 11. And I could definitely see that line moving up as people see the ranked number next to James Madison.
Yeah, I mean, like, certainly I'm sure that the public will bet James Madison in this one.
Yeah, I like the Southern play here, honestly. And if you want to watch James Madison in action anyways, it's a good opportunity to do so. Yeah, no, I do like Southern, actually. I'm fine with it.
I have a play in the game listed below that on ESPN at least.
Go ahead.
Wisconsin -7.5 against Michigan State. Michigan State has shown me nothing that they're going to be competitive against any sort of decent team.
Even at home.
I mean, they got blown out by Minnesota a couple weeks ago at home. Also, Wisconsin's like back to playing Wisconsin football, I think.
After 1 week, you're ready to say that?
Also, like Graham Mertz kind of been all right this year in certain times. He's been pretty good in certain games. Okay. And I think that now that Leonard's coaching, like his talent isn't going to be sort of limited by what Chris wants to do. And if he's playing well, Michigan State isn't stopping that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to stay away from that one. Eventually, I think Michigan State's going to play a team pretty close. Like, Like they've got to figure it out, right? At some
Has
point.
Michigan State like they haven't covered since week 2 against Akron.
Yeah.
They're 0-4 against the spread in their last 4, and they're 0-4 straight up in those games too.
Yeah. I don't really personally I don't
I
like
don't think the
this.
market's adjusted yet.
Maybe I personally would stay away, but that logic makes sense. Let's get LSU at Florida. Florida minus 2.5. Any play here?
No, I think both of these teams are really weird. I think LSU is probably the better team on paper.
Yeah.
I watched Florida play live this past weekend. I thought they were outplayed by Mizzou for majority of that game. They do run the ball pretty well, but LSU will stop that. I would think. Yeah, this is a definite stay away from me.
I agree. Let's keep chugging along here. Clemson at Florida State. Interesting line. 3.5.
Florida State's not healthy. Why is this only a field goal?
Like to me, this stands out. And Jordan Travis is coming off of a pretty atrocious game too.
Yeah,
I would take home Clemson minus 3.5. I'm perfectly fine with that.
this is a stay away from me. I can't get over where this line is. I just I don't understand why it's at 3.5. I still like Florida State
Because listen, every year Clemson has that game on ABC at 7:30 against like a pretty like solid team with
I thought it
athletes,
might have been. I
and
thought
they
at the beginning of the
struggle.
season it was going to be last week against
And they
BC.
struggle. So like
Really?
that's a play. Like Clemson's really good, but they're not a team that like is going to blow out every solid team in their conference. Like they'll have close games against teams.
Yeah. No, but like for real, like look at Clemson's schedule. They win this week, they're gonna be in the playoff.
Notre Dame.
You really think so?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Marcus Freeman effect.
Is this like the new Brian Kelly effect that I haven't heard about yet?
No, I just think that like Notre Dame is going to keep winning games and they're going to keep like I just feel like they're going to develop this chip on their shoulder that like, you know what, this season's gone, but like we still have good players on this team. Let's like show these guys up. Let's see what we can do on national television.
What position is like Notre Dame better
Tight
than?
end. Oh, tight end for sure.
But like the gap isn't that big. Stool's been great for Clemson.
Tight end, O line.
I don't know if I agree with that.
No, Notre Dame's O line is better than Clemson's.
It wasn't the first. It wasn't when I've seen them play.
Okay.
Granted, like listen, I haven't watched much of Notre Dame over the last few weeks.
They were good against BYU.
I watched them play Cal. I watched the Marshall and Ohio State games.
They held Ohio State to 14 points.
I watched part of the UNC game, but the UNC's defense is atrocious. So take that with a grain of salt.
They held Ohio State to 14 points. It's capable. Like they are
21.
capable of doing it. So, anyways, Clemson minus 3.5. I like it. I'll take it. Mississippi State at Kentucky. Mississippi State 7-point favorite.
Love it.
No, I think that's too many points.
Love it. Kentucky's
I think it's too
terrible.
many points on the road against an SEC opponent. Too many points. Too many points. Kentucky plus 7 is my bet. I feel very comfortable about it.
Kentucky's terrible. Mississippi and
They're not terrible, dude.
and not
They're
healthy.
not what we thought they were, but they're not terrible.
Did you think they were gonna be not great?
I think they're a top 25 team in the country. I don't think
don't.
they're any better than like.
I think they're in NC State territory.
Oh my god, dude!
Mississippi State's like a legitimate top 15 team. That's a good football team.
I really like the play. I think
that Mississippi State defensive line will destroy Kentucky's offensive line.
Yeah, but like I can see a situation where Kentucky's able to kind of run the ball a little bit more. And again, like they haven't been able to really do it this year, but like they have the pieces to do so. And like especially at home, coming off of like a really deflating loss. Like, I don't know. I think seven's a lot, to be honest. It is. A lot of points.
It is a lot of points, but think Kentucky is a full touchdown better or a full touchdown worse than Miss State.
Okay, we're gonna agree to disagree on that one as well then. USC at Utah. Utah minus 3.5. Very torn about this play. USC money line might be the move. What are they at? Like, can we find out what their payout is for the
I
game?
imagine it's like plus 120 or something like
Plus
that.
one, plus 130.
Yeah, I don't think I have a play here.
I don't think I do either. So just enjoy this one. This one's gonna be good.
It's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, I can't find a play there.
I think USC is probably the better team on paper, but
This one's an interesting one. Washington State at Oregon State. Oregon State favored by 3 at home. I kind of like Wazoo.
Chance Nolan didn't play last week. They came back to beat Stanford. I think I'm with you here. Kind of like Wazoo.
I like Wazoo in this one. I would take what's the payout? You can get Wazoo plus 135. I would probably take that, honestly.
I agree with you.
Any other game we want to go over?
I mean, that's kind of all we have. I kind of lean Nebraska plus 13.5 against Purdue.
Yeah.
Weird one. I don't think Purdue's beating anybody by 2 touchdowns, except for maybe Northwestern.
I'm fine with that as well. Okay, I think that's we went through a ton of games there, got a lot of plays. Again, for those who haven't been paying attention, lock of the week. Get that Alabama line wherever you can. 7.5, take it and run with it.
Yeah.
Hope everyone has a great let's see, this is probably gonna be on we're probably gonna put this up on Thursday. Of course, we're recording this on Monday, so these lines have probably changed a little bit. Hope everyone has a great time watching these games. It's gonna be an awesome week of college football, and we'll be right back here next Monday to go over everything that happened.